Yuvrajji and I were talking the other day, and he said, I really want to learn everything. And I wrote a sentence to him. There is nothing to be known, nothing to know. And he said, oh, this should be the start of your next satsang then. And explain to me in what circumstances can I use this expression, there is nothing to know. So let's start with that. And Khushbu has also joined, very nice. And the point that I was trying to make was there is nothing anew. Anew means there's nothing new to know other than only one reality, that we are not, that the self alone is. The reality is that only self, self meaning consciousness, self meaning heaven, or self meaning whatever word is convenient for ourselves. Each one of us has a convenient word that we connect with. It is already given into us. So for me it is self, or for me it is screen, or for me it is I, the small I, or for me it is Summaira in Tamil that Bhagwan used to use a lot. So the point I was trying to make was no new knowledge needs to be gained other than the only knowledge that that alone is. Reality is only one. Self is only one. There is no mutation. You cannot, wo khandit nahi hota hai. It is Purna. That's why that Sanskrit shlok, Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Well, what does that signify? That I am that which is whole, which is complete. I am not the completeness of it. I am not the non-completeness of it. I am complete. There's nothing else to be added to it. You cannot take out anything from it. You cannot scrape it off and chisel it or diminish it or make its proportion different. It is what it is, and it is not an object. And my mind, as a human being, is linked with objects. So there is nothing new to be gained. Nothing new to be gained except one knowledge. And if we stay with that knowledge of non-dual existence, then I don't need to know anything else. Everything else that I know, even today in this body, is only an acquired knowledge about objects. Whether I'm a scientist, whether I'm a medical scientist, or Namaskar, Narayanji. So anyway, we just started by talking about no new knowledge needs to be gained other than only one knowledge, that self. And let's just call it self for our understanding. Self is the ultimate reality. Self is that what I think is happiness. And because of my previous births, and I have had millions of births, mistake not, my friends, we've been born many, 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 many times. And all of us have been connected in the past. There's no new connection we are making. So coming back to the point, the self is alone. Self is one. Whether you call it in Ekunkar, whether you call it Om, let's first of all understand, and what you were saying, Yuvrajji, the inclination, the intensity to understand and to have a satsang every day is the first prerequisite of becoming a non-dualistic practitioner. And then once I begin to do that, I begin to see that every thought that I have, every action that I have is only an object-related thing. What are the objects? And we are coming to attachment in a moment. What are my biggest objects? Can you try and tell me one object that you're most attached to? Does any one of you want to volunteer? One object that you are most attached to. Give me one example and then I'll expand on it. Is there one thing you can identify, Khushbu or Yuvrajji or Narayanji or Sujit, that you can say, this is my strongest connection with something? It could be your brother, spouse, parent, brother, or something. I don't know what is it. Give me at least one volunteer.
But my mother.
Okay, knowledge.
Knowledge. You're attached to knowledge. That's a
Yeah,
very, very profound answer. That's a very unusual answer.
knowledge.
Your seed has already sprouted. Narayanji is smiling at me. Tell me, Narayanji, what are you most attached to? What are you most attached to, Sujit? Kushbu?
My mother.
Parents.
Huh? Parents.
Parents.
Parents, knowledge. Narayanji?
The mountain.
Mountain. Okay. And what we are most attached to is our body. My body is who I think I am. I have nothing other than the body to think about things. If today if anything happens to my body, immediately I'm concerned about it. And I'm the body because I'm thinking from my mind, which I think in my body, though it's not in my body, but it's my mind. Mind is not an organ, but still I'm attached to my body. My body is my first identification, as Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi said, that your first thought is the I thought. So I, which I? The egotistical I, not the ultimate I. The self is also called the I with a capital I. But he always reminded us that the egotistical I is the first identification you have, even when we are 2 years old and we don't have a cultivated mind yet. But still, we have innocence in us. We don't know the difference between father, mother, brother, sister. We don't know they have names, nothing. But my first identification begins, oh, where is your ball? And the kid picks up and says, oh, my ball or my thing, And the first identification begins, and then the second identification of my mother and my father, or brother or sister. And then the extrapolations of fathers and then teacher and school and third, that's called the third identifications from my second identification. My father's brother, my mother's sister, my brother's wife, my wife's brother, all are second, third relationships. So my first bondage, my biggest attachment is my body and my own mind. What I think is what I believe. And my thinking is already been implanted in many ways. In many ways, there is some basic intrinsic thought process that is already inside me. I don't know where it has come from. For example, I believe that certain things are true and certain things are not true. Nobody comes to tell me, I know it. And then I begin to, when I go towards non-dualistic teachings, then I begin to unfold my attachments. So there's another way to understand attachment. First of all, let me give you a very brief perspective. We have 4 Vedas, right? Yajurveda, Rig Veda, Atharva Veda, and Sam Veda. The first 2 Vedas are Karma Kanda. They only teach us ritualistic practice, which also tells us this is not the ultimate goal. Ritualistic practice cannot get you to the self. Ritualistic practice can make you ready to understand that you need to embrace the self. When our intensity to understand the non-dualistic teaching begins, it means we've already transcended. We've gone beyond the faith in the ritualistic things. We don't need it anymore. We don't need to sit in a particular posture to meditate, or a particular time, or a particular puja to be done, a particular pitru thing to be done every year. We don't need that. Now, what is attachment? My attachment first is myself. And I, because of me, my body, my attachment is my education, my parents, my brothers and sisters, if I'm married, my spouse, and then my children, and then their objectives. And so my attachments continue to increase with myself first. I should be healthy is an attachment. I must be educated is an attachment. Everything that I connect with is only about me and my body, as I said so many times. So Yajurveda and Rig Veda are karma kanda, but Atharva Veda and Sam Veda are the teachings, and they are smaller in portion. Because this knowledge is very concise. So attachment, first of all, let's understand attachment so that we can understand how to detach from it or unattach for it. And since we are running out of time again, one verse that you guys should listen to, and I'll try and send you a good link, but put in YouTube, asangoham, 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 punah, punah. This is a verse written by Shankaracharya. It's called Jnanavali. Even if you type Jnanavali in YouTube, and Jnanavali with a J, Jnanavali. I am unattached. I am unattached again and again. I was never attached to begin with. I am unattached. So, though we don't have much time, I can't build on it. But first, we must understand what is my attachment to understand. How can I detach from it? And attachment is whatever I like to do again and again, whatever I feel connected with, whatever I feel is mine. Whatever I feel cannot be taken away from me. Whenever I feel hurt or dejected, when that diminishes, that is attachment. And there are lots of them. It's not only my parents or relations, it's my money, it's my education, it's my environment, it's my own background. I consider myself higher than some people, lower than some people. I consider that this much respect must be given to me is a big attachment. अरे मैं बोल रहा था और बीच में बोलने लगे. I have known of a Swami who would stop lecturing when people would enter the hall a little later. And one time I told him, Swamiji, why are you so attached to your presentation? He didn't like it. But as a young man, I was very, very clear in my mind. So I told him, I said, why do you have to stop? You think you can stop the world? People will always come in later. So my attachment is to myself. My respect has to be established. Nobody dare insult me is a big attachment. So whenever we are insulted, whenever we are compromised, when we lose money, when our dear ones part company from us, that begins my unattachment, and I must practice it. In my mind, to concise it very quickly, this will get disconnected anytime. In my mind, I must practice that nothing belongs to me. I never came with these belongings. I don't know where they have come from, and I have no control over when it will be taken away from me. Just as I have lost money, I couldn't control it. Even though when I was a successful businessman and I was making a lot of money, or I'm a good investor, I'm a good financial advisor, and still my advice doesn't yield 100% results, is my first point to begin my journey towards unattachment. The word is unattachment, but detached is also right. Unattached is asango or masango. And that's the way to look at it. And we must practice. For example, you have children, think when you're playing with them, if they are very small, or if you're conversing with them, if they're old enough, or you're meeting with them, if they're already married, think that this could be the day, or there would be a day very soon when I may not be able to see them because either I'll be gone or they'll be gone. But that day is today. Think like that. It'll make us so powerful that when somebody dies, then we don't cry. Nothing happens, and we are still sad. Not taking away anything from that. But yes, we become so strong that nothing belongs to me. And nothing is going to belong to me. Nothing has ever belonged to any human beings. Everything belongs to the consciousness, the self, the tree, the bird, the butterfly, the insect, the tiger, the leopard, the crocodile, the forests, the oceans, the rivers, the skies. Nothing belongs to us. That energy is the self that has created the whole cosmos, not because of any volition, not of their desire, but because of the desire of the mind that we got separated from that reality. And that's why we consider this to be the real. This is the next step is that the world is unreal. How do I understand the world is unreal? By practicing that everything is unreal, myself is unreal. I'm a body. Unreal means impermanent. Unreal means temporary. Everything around me is temporary, including my body, my voice, my eyes. So the qualities that one should practice are Shraddha. I must have faith in this, and I must be a mumukshutva. Mumukshu is one who has a strong desire for liberation. Everybody, every other creature, every other entity survives without their participating in it. We, as the people with mind and intellect, are the only people worried about our lunch and dinner, or when we reach there, what will happen? Will that person come to receive me or not? All these things, I'm just giving you small examples, but take larger examples. Will my son become the doctor? Will my daughter have this, or my uncle or my brother is this? Whatever is your world, all those things are not necessary for me to control. It's already controlled, just as my life. Now think of this, another way of practicing, practical way of attachment. From my childhood, when I was in first grade, second grade, my friends were the best of my friends. I could not survive without them, but I survived. Now they're not my friends. Then I had I'd been married first time, and then I got married again. That attachment waned, it went away. Or somebody who left me, or they had a premature death, and then I was so attached, and then slowly it got diminished. So look at the reality of how my life is being conducted around me, and my attachments are already being taken away from me. I just have forgotten them. I was attached to that, my cricket bat, it got left, and I lost it. I used to score, I'm not talking about I create examples using I, because we are talking about the ego, the I, all the time. So people say, oh, my shield, my this, my chandelier, my gold ring, all that is not necessary. So this is a concise way of looking at my attachment first. If I know my attachment, then I can begin to unattach from it. I cannot unattach by reading unattachment. In Tattva Bodha, Shankaracharya has talked about the qualities. Mumukshutva is one quality, and there are other qualities he has described. So and Vairagya, that I should be unattached. Vairagya is another quality as described, which is unattachment. Don't be attached to it. And that's why when you are totally, when you really begin to, then you open your fist like this. You're not hesitant sharing your knowledge, your wealth, your house. You're very easy to tell anybody, yeah, come anytime. You're able to feed them just as you feed yourself. You're able to share your money just as you spend it on yourself. You're able to share lots of things that you think otherwise, if I tell him, then he will get ahead of me. Jealousy, reduce that. Let others get ahead of me. Let me be trampled. That's detachment. That is unattachment. So any questions, guys? We have run out of time. Anytime it will go away. So if it will go away, then it's good. It's fine. We are attached to this time.
Jai Arunachala. Jai Arunachala.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all of you. Thank you. Thank you, Bandhuji.